What's up guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And joined by me today is a very good friend of mine in Mr. Nub Raids. How's it going, bro?
It's good, it's good. I'm glad to be back. Let's dive in. Oh, the final collab before hard mode dungeons come out,
Yes.
maybe? Oh,
and,
exciting stuff.
and then we'll have like 50 collabs maybe coming up for
Yeah.
each boss. Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah guys, what we're going to be doing today is breaking down our favorite champions to take down Astranix The Dark Fae in 2023, and also the kind of roles that you want, the kind of buffs and debuffs you might want to bring in, and also stuff to avoid when taking that down. As we know, like from polls and stuff and just YouTube comments, how much of a pain that you guys feel that these bosses are. And we're actually doing a part 2 on Nub's channel to do a very similar video, but breaking down the champions for Bommal the Dreadhorn and the kind of roles and champions for that one as well. So I think it'll be quite an informational video, right? Hopefully help some people out trying to take this stuff down. And
yes, hopefully.
Yeah. All right, so what we're going to do is, I was actually away, so I'm still on floor 80. But I just wanted to discuss a little bit on what Astranix The Dark Fae does, because I'm not sure how you see this boss in like a simple format. But let me just make you a little bit smaller there. I think we're a bit out of touch. There we go.
Cool.
We're shrinking in, guys. Yeah. So basically, with the Dark Fae, the way that I see it is I treat it similar to the Fire Knight. And I always tend to say the same sentence where with the Fire Knight, you crack the shield, right? You take full turn meter control, and then that kind of leads you towards the end of the battle. And then with Astranix The Dark Fae, you get the mirror copy of yourself, and once you kill that mirror copy, it's pretty much turn meter control until the end of the fight. So obviously the main thing is not bringing in super tanky champions and making sure that you can kill your mirror copy as quickly as possible, so you don't have a hard time trying to kill them, and then she's stealing people and it's like, what's going on here? Is that kind of how you see it as well, in a similar sense?
Yeah, I'd never thought of the Fire Knight comparison before, but that makes a ton of sense, right? It's all about setting it up so that you take down the shield, or in this case, you take down the copies with your skill set up right when you go in, then turn meter control, stop those abilities going off. And yeah, that's a really good comparison. It's all about that initial setup.
Yeah.
This boss is really tough, though. You know, if you just go into it blind the first time, you get to the boss and your team kills your own team. And you're going, how do I beat my own team? This is crazy. So hopefully we'll point you guys in the right direction.
Yeah, I guess one thing that I wanted to mention as well, guys, is it's not like Astranix The Dark Fae is set up for failure, because even though that is a mirror copy of your champions, you actually still get the upper hand and get to go first no matter what happens. So if you're coming in with like a Deacon Armstrong or a Lysandra or some form of 10 meter decreased champions, you can still have the upper hand, decrease the mirror copy's turn meter, and have a normal setup like you may have in the arena, right? So being able to take yourself out is actually a lot more easier once you understand the mechanics. But I guess breaking down the kit a little bit with the Dark Tendrils, she attacks all enemies and steals a random buff from magic champions. So the amount of magic champions you have, the more buffs she's going to steal. Nubs, do you just want to... Can you see this bit here?
Just about, yeah. So she'll steal turn meter according to the number of force champions. She'll place true fear according to the number of void champions.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like, bringing in different affinities is actually a cool take on bosses. And when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is interesting, because now maybe bringing in a cold heart is very good, by the way. But if they manage to take that turn, there's a chance for true fear, meaning that you don't just miss your turn, but it puts the skills on cooldown. So you got to start thinking about the teams and compositions, and can you afford to have multiple void champions, or do you just want to go for magic ones and not caring about buffs? Is kind of a way that I like to go with a lore as well. Apart from that, it's mainly just leeches. She steals the occasional target and stuff like that. But once you've got full turn meter control, it seems to be a pretty relatively easy fight once you've got it optimized. But yeah, okay. So do you want to head into like a first champion that you recommend for players in terms of the Dark Fae?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, number one, like you mentioned her just there, actually, but Allure. Demon Spawn, she's magic affinity, which is the best affinity for this. But yeah, she just brings so much turn meter control with that A1, every hit reducing turn meter. So she really reduces what the boss is able to do. Massively locks it down. Also, her A2 actually kind of useful here for locking out your own team. It's not reliable, but she can, put a decreased defense and sleep out on that first round when you spawn in, which can help you to control or defeat your own team as well. So yeah, Allure.
Yeah,
really, really strong.
I actually use in my team. I have the luxury of having two. And how I usually traditionally like to take down the Dark Fae is I like to crowd control with like a Physics Stun Bold or a stun champion like an Astralon. And then then I don't have the mirror copies having any chance of hitting me back. But like you're just saying, with Temptation, if you got one with good RNG or two for more consistency, you can actually lock it out with the sleep. You're also placing the drop defense. When you come through with the nuke, you're annihilating pretty much. So yeah, but the main thing, Psychic Whip is OP. It's super OP.
Indeed.
All right, so first one for me is actually going to be from the High Elves, and it's going to be an old school champion in Royal Guard. Now, traditionally, we love him for the takedown, but there is a max HP cap up to 10%, so you won't see like a true value, but it's still a lot of max HP once you get out a few turns. But one of the main sources is decreased speed and turn meter reduction on a 4-time hitter. Now, if it's just the boss alive, although it's a random hit, all of those hits are going to be going onto the boss, meaning that you have that big chance to also place a decreased speed and reduce that turn meter. So max HP for damage, drop defense A1s, decreased speed, turn meter reduction, a very cool champion to put into the teams there, right?
Yeah, definitely. And it's the same build that you would use for Hydra. It's going to be the same one for this.
Yeah.
Good accuracy, good speed, decent damage. Boom.
Yeah.
Locked it in.
All right, who we got next?
Next up, we have Armiger. So similar as well. He's got that turn meter A1. As an uncommon champion as well, very easy to get. So this can give you a very strong, very budget option. The turn meter there, he also has got some nice max HP damage on his A2. And his AI is pretty smart. He only uses it if their turn meter is really low. But yeah, just consistent turn meter, lock down the boss. Maybe some max HP damage for some nukes. Great, solid champion.
Yeah, I think he's definitely worthy. Obviously, like, trying to keep him alive might be a bit of a pain in the hard Doom Tower at the top, but especially when you're progressing, Armiger's going to do a great job. 100%. Okay, so next one is going to be from the Sacred Order. The Lord himself, Mr. Deacon Armstrong. Now, very similar to, like, Alessandra, who we'll discuss later, he's actually got a speed aura by 19%. So if you're getting to like the hard Doom Tower, you're like, damn, this speed is just, I can't do this. Well, bringing in speed auras is a great way to actually kind of counter that, right? We've got increasing our turn meter, allowing us to take more turns, but it's also decreasing of the boss, which is viable. Leading in with the drop defense, but one of the most crucial roles for me as well is the fact that he has a leech on the A1. Now, this is going to allow you to heal by 18% of the damage inflicted without relying on lifesteal sets. And let's just say the boss comes through occasionally, he places a bit of damage on you, some leech and stuff. Your less tanky champions like Cold Hearts can actually come through with like a Heartseeker, fill all the way back up in terms of HP, and just get you back to that fight for consistency, because the lethal gear is one of the best gears to farm in the Doom Tower period, right? So being able to have a consistent farm team, someone like Deacon Armstrong enables that with the leech.
Yeah, I before I got Lysandra, I used Deacon. And like you said, the leech was the key thing, because my turn meter control wasn't quite perfect. The boss would get 1, maybe 2 turns, so she would smack you, but the leech would let you stay alive, you could take the hits, no problem.
Yeah.
So it's pretty big.
Yeah, so like even when I was first doing it, I was struggling so much. I was like, damn, my Cold Heart dies, and then I'm not getting my Heartseeker out, and it's like, before you know it, she's taking your champions back. You're like, please stop. But that leech definitely helps out a lot, man. Especially in some budget comps that I've made. I was like, wow, you definitely feel the impact of that. So all right, who we got next?
Next up, we have Cold Heart. A really underrated champion. No one knows her or uses her. But no, Cold Heart obviously for this is amazing. Coming in, you can actually set her A2 as like the opener. Gives you a bit of an AoE nuke to take down your own team. It's not bad. But the main thing is Heartseeker, right? That turn meter depletion plus the enemy max HP damage. Plus she's a rare that everyone builds probably multiple copies of. So she's a great one to slot in here. She's going to be squishy, kill her easily. And she does good damage to the boss, good turn meter. Yeah, just a great champ for this too.
Yeah, and she also has like the heal reduction, right? Because the boss can place a leech, so being able to place that is pretty cool. And the decreased accuracy to make sure that some of your champions might not get any debuffs on yourself. So I guess there's many ways to a kit that can be utilized, but yeah, Heartseeker, get that in my team, please. All right, so next one's going to be one that I've not personally used. My commenters always like to bash me for not rating him highly. but it's going to be Herndig.
Yeah,
I
this is one
know
of my top ones.
I know the value of him, right? But I guess if this is something that you're using on a consistent basis, do you want to break this down, I guess?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the thing that Herndig does that's so great is he's got the two big AoEs. So, for
Mm-hmm.
killing your own team and getting through the waves quickly, that works. But then the extra special thing is obviously, you nuke the waves with the AoE, then you get to the boss, your team spawns in, you don't have your AoEs ready. Well, his A1 gives him an extra turn and also decrease the cooldown of one of his AoEs, which also incidentally can deplete turn meter whenever he kills somebody. So your team is going to be so squishy that it doesn't matter if his skills are on cooldown, he gets to the boss, he just starts one-shotting your team at extra turns, gets back to his AoE, and you're flying. He also brings a decreased defense, which is nice, and I think decreased accuracy. But then the turn meter deplete helps you lock down the turn meter too. He needs a lot of books, so it took me a good while to build him up. But I think he's one of the absolute best for this boss. He brings all of that damage, bit of turn meter, and he's so consistent for speed farming.
Yeah, no, he's really, really good. I don't know why I keep not building. The thing is, I actually booked him up over CVC. I was like, I'm going to give him a shot. But I think because I actually didn't do the fusion and I got him in like a double legendary event, it's just one of those things where, do you know when you've already got a team and it's like, why add to that? Like, don't break what's broken in a sense. So I just thought, I just kind of left it on the side. But I might actually, like, rereading it now, like, having the weaken in there is very strong. With the drop defense and the decreased accuracy, he brings a lot more utility than I gave him credit for, I guess. But very, very strong with that turn meter reduction as well. Full turn meter.
Yeah, I think he can solo Nightmare probably with the exact same build that you would use for this. Probably pretty darn quickly as well. So that's another thing that he does well. Nightmare campaign farm plus Dark Fae, absolutely insane. So a lot of books.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was looking at. I'm like, in terms of like being able to use him because of the long cooldown on the stasis strike.
You need the books.
You need the books to keep that reliable enough to keep that 10 meter down, unless you've got like literally multiple champions, like more than two, to keep it down, especially in the higher thresholds, right? But very strong option. Very strong.
Yes.
All right, Joyce, I like to learn a little bit, so I'm picking your brain a bit there. All right, so who was next? That was kind of my choice. Go for it.
Oh, it's Acrizia. It's got to be Acrizia. She's the best for everything. It's who knew?
Oh my god.
But yeah, this champion's just insane. But again, you're talking about max HP, killing the boss quickly. She brings it. She has the turn meter steal as well on the 3-turn cooldown when booked. So she's just going to be really pumping out all that turn meter control. She's got all the AoEs. I haven't actually used her for this. Maybe the passive makes it a little tricky, right? Because it's going to be hard to kill her. But
you've got Acrizia.
No, I don't. But
I was just about to say, I was like, you've not used it for this. I was like, wait a second.
I wish. No, I don't think I tried her because on the test server when we had her.
Yeah.
But I think I was missing for most of that test server. It's very depressing.
Acrizia locks you up. She's like, you're not using me, nubs.
Yeah, this champ's nuts. She's nuts.
She's such a dream. Like I was saying to you before we started recording, like sometimes I just forget Acrizia exists because I'm like, there's just no chance in hell I'm ever gonna get one. But who knows?
Yeah, you know what I feel? People often say about Krisk, like how insane Krisk is, and I guess the grass is always greener. You know, I have a Krisk, and I'm like, yeah, he's great, but I don't use him everywhere. Good few places, not everywhere. I feel like the way I feel about Acrizia is how most people feel about Krisk, where you're just like, this is the best champ in the game. Use them everywhere. They're insane.
Yeah. Or how I feel about Genzin, and then nobody else agrees with me. Oh, God. All right, so next champion for me is actually going to be a bit of a controversial choice, but I am standing by it with 2 feet on the ground, and it's Grohawk the Bloodied. Now, this is a champion I actually, no joke, I've got a video on the channel, guys, if you want to check it out. I used him in my Dark Fae 120 team for a long time, and very similar to Acrizia in a sense where he actually steals the target's turn meter. So being able to like steal it, he's filling up his turn meter, effectively making this a 3-turn cooldown if you steal it correctly. He's actually got an A1 decreased speed as well, which attacks twice. So even if you don't book it up, it's based off each hit, meaning that it is consistent. And he's also got an AoE, and if it's critical, will fill this champion's turn meter by 20% for each hit, right? So if you think about, like, if you just lead in against a boss, you open up with the Unbound Anger, increase your turn meter, right? This can be a one-shot champion similar to the Herndig we were speaking about. And then he'll instantly take another turn. He's going to steal the turn meter and lead him with a weaken. Now he's got full turn meter again. He's then going to lead in with the decreased speed. So you find yourself in a rhythm of taking 3 turns almost back to back immediately. And I feel like it's a very cool synergy without the need for books, as you do not need any books in order to kind of steal the turn meter here. So I feel like if you're progressing, you've got him in the vault, you're struggling for turn meter, do not underestimate this dude. He's very good for the Dark Fae.
Yeah. Nice.
Did you like my little speech there?
I did. I liked that a lot.
I get passionate about these champions. You know how it is, like the same how you are with Angar. You know what I mean? Like,
Angar. Yeah. Actually, can we stay in orcs for? I got an extra one we don't have on our list to throw in.
A little bonus one. Let's go.
Yeah, bonus. Now that we're in the orcs and talking about these interesting underdogs, Gomlock Skyhide. I don't think he's on our list. I forgot him.
Yeah,
he's legendary.
Oh wait.
So
I used him in the faction games, right?
Yeah, you probably did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
But this guy, so. He's a Doom Tower legendary. It takes you ages to get him. So you probably have a Dark Fae team good to go.
Yeah.
By the time you get him and he needs to be booked and stuff. But like, look at that A2. Books to a 2-turn cooldown. It will decrease their turn meter and actually steal their turn meter if this champ is full HP. And he also brings decreased defense weaken. He has a leech as well. He's kind of interesting, right? And because you got that turn meter, he probably is going to be full turn meter. Full health. So he's just going to keep stealing a bit of turn meter every couple of turns. It's quite a lot of turn meter plus decreased defense weaken to help kill your own team. So maybe not the most useful champion by the time you get him, but he's one that's it's worth pointing out. He's actually quite good for this boss. It's just...
He's actually, he is very good for this, because even if you look here, guys, on the Wild Surge, in his AoE drop defense skill, he actually attacks all enemies 2 times, and he has a chance of reducing turn meter on each hit as well by 10%. So, yeah, in terms of like that setup as well, he's actually one to consider, right? 100%. Leech as well.
So there you go. Gomlock.
A little secret one in there. I guess one other one that was in the Orcs that will be very similar.
Yeah.
Another extra bonus one. Where is he? Wait,
we get to the orcs. It's faction games all over again. We're diving in.
I was going to say, Tuag the Wanderer's got like a decreased speed and stuff. He steals the turn meter as well. So he's basically like an epic version that you can summon of like a Gomlock. I found him very similar when I was doing the faction games on the Fire Knight. So yeah. There we go. Some bonus ones, guys. Don't tell anyone, all right? Secret.
Yeah, it's our secret, our orcish secret.
All right, so apart from the orcs now, what was our actual next one? Let's see back into it.
Right, back into the orcs. No. So Lysandra, yes. We're back on track with the mainstay picks here. Obviously, she's insane. She's got the big speed aura. She's got increased speed, the turn meter manipulation, the full turn meter deplete on her A2. Lysandra is so good for this. She really makes it very consistent for auto farming. Yeah. Just everything that you want, everything you need.
Okay, so next one's going to be from the Dark Elves, and it is a free champion that I also used for a long time in a Visix to Unboat. And this is kind of how I used to run it, not anymore, but I used to open up with the Provoke, allowing none of the champions to hit me, right? And then I was going to kind of lead with the decreased speed, and then I would block it off, because it does have an ally protection, which can be detrimental with the Visix, because when the boss hits, there's that chance of Visix dying on the higher stages. So what I say is kind of open up with the Provoke, lead in with the decreased speed if you don't have another decreased speed champion, and just chunk out the A1. 2-time hitter, reducing the turn meter, she's void affinity. Just keep that down as much as possible with the other champions, and... great choice, but just remember, bringing in Void Affinity can give you that chance to True Fear, so just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, she's such a good budget option because everyone gets her, and she's so good for Doom Tower hard as well, so yeah, I'd say a lot of people really going to end up building her and using her a ton.
Yeah, she's so... I feel like Visix is so underrated. Like, she was trash back in the day, but when when you use her in any kind of style of content, like Arena, Dark Fae, Fire Knight, you name it, she just brings such a simple but effective kit, I think. I like it.
Yeah, she's a beast. Campaign farmer as well. Really good for that too.
All right, who we got next?
Next up is Skimfoss.
I love this dude.
Yeah, you've done some fun things with Skimfoss, right? I haven't done too much with him. But yeah, he comes in. So he's got, again, the turn meter steal, I think.
Yeah.
He steals the turn meter. He's got AoE damage too. Hits pretty hard, I think, as well. Like reasonably hard. So yeah, Have you used this guy on Dark
Yeah,
Fae
so
yourself?
guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave a link to any of myself or Nub's videos in terms of like Dark Fae comps in the past. It will all be in the description, all timelined. And there's actually been a bunch of, I'm not sure about you as well, but I've made so many videos that just went under the radar where I actually used Skim Fast. I had no allures in the teams, no legendaries, epics and rares only. And this dude was doing stage 120 with no allures in the team, guys. And I was like, wow, because if you could get him in Relentless, because of the amount of times he's stealing turn meter, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown, it effectively makes this a 2-turn cooldown. And if you've got Relentless procs happening throughout the run, you're stealing, you're doing AoE decrease attacks, you're placing decreased speed as well, and another turn meter decrease on the A1. So if you kind of open up with this one for the initial damage, block it off and just do these two, you got so much control with this dude. But yeah, man, very underrated. This dude.
Yeah, he's such an underrated champion for sure.
I'd actually go. He's definitely one of the most underrated champions in Raid. Guys, let us know in the comment section how many of you actually use a Skim Fast, whether that be in Fire Night or Dark Fae or whatever content, because this guy needs some love, man. Look at this, 400 reviews only. He's been out for ages. It's mad. All right. Next one's going to be a free champion that we get at 60 days, right? I can't remember. I could assume.
Maybe it's a month. I think it's 1 month.
Is it? Yeah, I think it might be. I don't know.
It's a barbarian.
This shows how much that I use her, guys, but I know the value. Where is she?
She's green affinity. You don't want to see how, guys. You don't want to see how he spelled her name in the list. You spell everything else right. Everything. We've got freaking Basilius Rowanus coming up soon, spelled right. And High Katoon.
Oh no! I'm just thinking of like Star Wars. Do you know when they have like the Katoon? I mean, there's one of the characters there. All right. So she does have like an AoE that can decrease turn meter. Very, very strong. She does an AoE with increased speed as well and filling the turn meters, and also a decreased speed A1. So kind of fulfills all of the roles for something like the Dark Fae, and has that speed aura if you guys are struggling for speed once again. So a budget option that can actually carry all the way up until the highest stage of the Doom Tower, right?
Yep. Yeah. She's going to be like, again, for earlier players, especially, she's going to be your MVP because you definitely have her. She has everything you need. Not for 120 hard, but I mean, the first time you're going through normal and some of those lower hard stages, she's got everything you want in the kit.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Next up is one of your, what do you call him now? I seen your thumbnail. It was like Dad or something.
Yeah, Dad the Nightborn. Dad.
Oh wait, where is he, man? He's undead. There you go.
This guy was great for this boss. And then they buffed him. Now I think he's absolutely fantastic. Vlad, yeah, it's really strong. So he's got this is the move that makes him quite good for it, because he's got the AoE with Leech. That also, is it just decreased turn meter, or is it steal?
So it steals 50% of the turn meter and then decreases for champions from the factions, yeah.
Yeah. So it will decrease the Dark Fae turn meter. It will steal potentially from your own champions. It will steal from, like if they've got a Royal Guard or something copied.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good move. He has he heals himself on his A1 as well, which is nice. And then he's got another AoE now. It's also an AoE with decreased defense and block active skills to lock out your own champion. So he's really got a lot in terms of killing the waves quickly, locking out your team, bringing some turn meter, bringing healing and the leech. This guy's he brings a ton. He's very, very good for this boss. He was good before his buff, and now he's even better. He's just a great champ in general now.
Yeah, very strong. Like being able to place leech to heal up your champions, and then also healing himself on an A1 skill, by the way, by 30% of the damage inflicted. This guy is hardly gonna, I don't even think he will die as long as he's speed tuned, even if you take a couple smacks. So yeah, brings a lot, and is actually somebody that I was considering to bring in for myself. But yeah, very strong.
Yeah, I do think Herndik's better overall, but Vlad is a very good option too.
Well, somebody that I would say is kind of like on par with Herndік for me anyway is Biggin. I love this dude. I used him for a very long time, and because all of his skills are AoE, it doesn't really matter which one that you use against yourself. If he's built correct, he's killing them, right? But alongside that, decrease speed and turn meter decrease on in one skill set here. It is on a 5-turn cooldown. I wish it was on like a 4 or a 3-turn, but he does bring that in. So on that initial stage when you're coming through, you're decreasing the turn meter of the boss and your champions. Decrease speed is going out, so you've got the instant setup. You got decreased accuracy as well, and then it's just mainly about damage from there. But if you're struggling with like just the initial phase, this is the great setup champion to kind of take yourself down.
Yeah, nice. Big AoEs, all good. All right, next up is I actually don't know about this guy much. Basilius Rowanus. High
Yes.
elf, right?
Yes.
Oh, you don't have him either. Neither of us have this champ.
I think Basilius Rowanus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen his A3 here? I think it's very, very strong and very... There's kind of like a theme here, right? You want to kill yourself, and then you want to have some sort of coverage after that. And I felt like he should make the list because he attacks all enemies. He does have a chance to place a stun, so that's the CC as well if you don't kill them. And then he decreases each target's turn meter by 50% if the stun debuff is not placed. And what can't be stun, guys? Astranix The Dark Fae. So that's going to instantly decrease the turn meter by 50%, whilst also doing CC and damage against the initial targets, right? He also does ignoring of defense with a 3-time hitter. Oh, sorry, will ignore increased defense, shield buffs, and block damage, but ignores the defense as well. And I felt like if you don't have someone like a max HP champion, like a Royal Guard or a Kotar, for raw damage alone, they actually hold a lot of value in something like the Dark Fae. And I felt like a 3-time hitter ignoring that chunk of defense alongside a great setup at the start was actually something that I felt is underrated, honestly.
Yeah, he's really good. He's kind of like Force Affinity Astralon in a way, but he brings the turn meter for the boss. Yeah, great champ.
And I felt like 100% is very, very rare for an AoE stun champion as well. And he does hit pretty hard, so... Yeah, someone to look out, guys, if you got him in the vote. Pretty much.
Nice.
I felt like I just took over your champion there.
Oh, no, that's fine, because I forgot what he did, to be honest.
All right, do you want to go into the next one? Because I know exactly, you know exactly what the next one does.
The next one, Countess Lix. Yeah, so she's coming in. She, again, brings a lot of that turn meter control and, controlling basically your team as well. But yeah, that A2, really nice. The triple hit, decreased speed, decreasing the turn meter with every hit. Quite nice. Her A3, I think, brings some control as well.
Yeah.
With the block active skills and also decreasing your ally skills. I think that's really viable and valuable for, bringing down those heart seekers like Deacon Armstrong, whatever he's doing, all that stuff. Just makes your team more effective. So, yeah, she's sort of the control freak, which is quite nifty.
Yeah, actually, I kind of look at her in a way like a budget Kaimar without needing a Kaimar. Because when you're actually resetting those cooldowns, if you got in a rhythm of doing that, like you just said, with the max HPs, you'll be taking on that boss so much quickly. If you've got a ninja, you're literally going to keep burning pretty much. But the Myra of Misery, all of this stuff here is so good for setting up as well. And I'm always a big fan of the magic affinity because I feel like those champions, like being able to steal a buff from the boss is like probably the worst one out of there. The truth is, they're definitely the worst one you can get, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because you're not going to really bring any buffs. So what's she going to steal? Nothing.
All right. Next one's going to be a free champion, which you can get from. Oh my god, I'm so bad at factions.
Barbarians.
I'm a shambles, guys. All right. Yakal, who's actually, I feel like is going to hold a lot of value in the new Fire Knights hard mode dungeon as well. But he does have like freeze debuff, so great for setup champions. But just remember that if you're placing freeze on your mirror copies, there's going to be a bit of damage mitigation on that side. So you're trying to kill them might be a bit harder. But he does have decreased speed. He steals turn meter. He's got increased speed as well. Doing AoE of freezes. And yeah, there's just so much turn meter control and everything you need for the Dark Fae. And I feel like if you have that luxury of having him by collecting those fragments, definitely somebody that's worth investing in, especially for like the dungeons as well coming up. So definitely want to keep an eye out for, right?
Yeah. So there's a very good chance. We'll see when the hard mode stuff comes out. We get to test it. A lot of people probably, it seems like, are going to be building Yakarl. We'll see for sure. But then he does double up. I think I've got videos for him on Dark Fae myself, but he's great for it. Like AoE freeze does have the downside, like you said, of some damage reduction, but big AoE attack. And yeah, that A2 is so good for this boss. Really strong.
He looks great champ. So sick, man. We need Genzin to have one eye list in the back.
Yeah.
Raid, man. The day they put a red mask Genzin, I'm going to flip my chair upside down and do a backflip, guys. I promise. All right. Next up, here we go. This is actually, wait, guys, we need to take a moment of silence here, okay? Silence. There we go. Who's the next one?
It's Archmage Helmet.
Oh, come on, Nub. You're supposed to have more excitement than that. He's literally your channel mascot.
It's Archmage Helmet. Oh my god.
See that, guys? I gave a cue. I gave a moment of silence. And he was so underwhelmed to read that name there. I can't believe it. What's going on?
I was, because you spelt it wrong as well. I just realized. That's the problem.
Did I? I don't think I did.
You did? You've one L and two T's. He's not that kind of mutt. He's not that kind of hell.
All
I get
right.
that wrong as well. Always.
Oh god.
Always get it wrong.
All right. So in terms of this champion, how could he be useful for the Dark Fae with all of his power?
Uh I think he's already all right, to be honest, for it. But like, he comes in, he's got the AoE stun. He can also decrease the turn meter a little bit, so that's kind of nice. But
Yep.
just in terms of getting in early and locking out your team, and then he's speed boosting you as well with the increased speed, so helping your team stay on top of it. I don't think he's absolutely mad for this, but look, as a budget option, again, he's just so insanely useful, this champion, that you will almost definitely build him up. You can pop him in there when that Dark Fae rotation comes in, and he can, bring the control that you need to start locking down the boss. She might steal the increased speed or crit rate, which could be a little scary because he's magic affinity, but decent budget option.
Yeah, if you got full turn meter control, definitely somebody you might want to consider. I'd always say, like, if you're struggling with, obviously the speeds are very hard to get to, and if you're struggling to crit cap champions that have that as conditions, like Allures or Skin Force, like we mentioned earlier, he actually places that increased crit rate with the increased speed and also amplifies damage. And as long as he's the fastest in your team, you're going to have a full coverage of this. So that will allow you to drop down your crit rate so you don't feel as bad about that. So you can increase the other stats like accuracy and speed. And I feel like that's always like a big problem with some players out there, right? They're like, oh, damn, I wish I could do it. I just can't get all of the things that's needed to do it. But I feel like for an attainable champion, we've got a nice setup here with the stuns, turn meter reduction, and kind of helping out the rest of your squad is kind of where I see his role, pretty much. Okay, so next one's going to be one that reminds me of Assassin's Creed. And I actually really want this dude just because of this. Look, he's probably one of my favorite looking champions in the game, you know. Like, I love Shadowkin, but this dude, he looks sick, man. Have you played Assassin's Creed back in the day?
I have, yeah. I played the original once, took a break for a while, and then I really enjoyed the one set in Greece, Odyssey. That was actually really fun.
Odyssey. Did you play Valhalla? I think that was a recent one.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Valhalla and I got kind of bored.
It feels a little bit like, for me, I feel like the game's a little bit repetitive now. But anyway, off topic,
guys.
Very. Yeah. So I was actually like, when I was researching for this video, I was thinking, ooh, this dude actually might be pretty good here because each hit also has a 75% chance of stealing 25% of the target's turn meter or steals 50% from the specific factions. So having a chance to, once he's booked up, to steal potentially 100% of the turn meter allows him to take an extra turn, effectively making this a free turn cooldown on Witchfinder. He also attacks 3 times at random, does some other stuff here. But the main thing that I was just seeing was the turn meter reduction was quite beneficial for players. So yeah, I thought it was pretty nice to throw him in there.
He's extremely good, actually. It's funny because he is the champ when he came out and everyone was like, this champ is absolutely awful, and we all kind of felt that way for ages. He's never been changed. And then I don't know who it was, but someone started coming out being like, oh, here's my Haltering and Fire Knight teams that are destroying stuff, and then we kind of realized, oh, actually he's quite good, you know. Replace Allure with him and he's like a much higher damage Allure.
Yeah, I guess the only downside of champions like this for like versatility is when they tend to put these conditions against specific factions, it's like, it's for like an average play. If you're not using it for like one place, like the Dark Fae or the Fire Knight, it's like this stuff doesn't even matter, right? There's like 700 champions in the game. You can't remember all the factions, right? Pretty much. So yeah. True. Okay.
I just wonder, like, how much of our freaking brains are full of information about raid champions instead of useful stuff.
I'll go to the top of like, what's 5 plus 5? 21.
Yeah.
Oh god. All right, here we go next.
Next up is Killian the Lucky. I'm intrigued by this one as well.
Not so lucky.
You're gonna have to walk us through this one. I've no idea what he does.
A very similar thing, guys. He steals turn meter, right? So has a 75% chance of placing a stun and stealing 50% of the target's turn meter, and resets the cooldowns of this skill if the target is killed. Of course, we're not going to be killing the boss, but that's a big chunk of stuff to steal on a 3-turn cooldown. If this was on a 5-turn, he probably wouldn't have made the list, but being able to steal that much on a 3-turn is actually valuable. He does an AoE for block active skills as well, so if you guys are struggling against the mirror copy, he's able to lock off the skills if you don't kill them, but also deal some decent damage. And a decreased speed A1 with more stealing of turn meter. So he brings quite a lot, actually. Setup champion, we've got lots of stealing and more stealing on the A1. So I think he's actually pretty good nowadays for even the Fire Knight as well.
Yeah, he got buffed, wasn't it, with the I think it's AoE now. I don't think it was before. Yeah. It's actually very solid for this now. Yeah, cool champ.
Definitely up there. Like, he's somebody, like, if I was struggling for turn meter, I wouldn't think like, oh, I need to settle for a Killian. I think he's actually very good for it. The chances are high as well on this one.
I need to pull this guy now for St. Patrick's Day. Come on, Irish pride. I need to get this champ. Come on, Raid, let's make it happen.
You're gonna get him now on your next. You're gonna be going for like a 10x for somebody like, oh, Killian.
I'm gonna 10x Duchess and the Killian pops out.
I'm gonna comment. I'm gonna comment. Didn't you say you wanted a Killian?
Yeah. Oh no.
All right.
Next one was. Oh wait, you're saying the next one because I called out Killian.
Yeah. So we're gonna go into the Shadowkin, Mr. Jintoro himself. Now this one, I wasn't sure if I was gonna put him on the list, but I thought if we're gonna go this deep into so many champions, we might as well mention them. So he's got that quirky thing, right, where with his passive, or was it this one? So would attack 5 times instead of 1 for every 4th use of this skill. So it's going to be very strong for damage. He applies 2 of the best things like drop defense and weaken to amplify damage of cold hearts or royal guards or whatever that may be. But he also steals the turn meter on a 3-turn cooldown, guys. So he's stealing turn meter, a lot of damage coming from Oni's rage, and I felt like he fulfills a good role, I'd say, for this one.
Yeah, he has a Herndix style A1 as well with extra turn when he kills somebody. So I actually have used him against Dark Fae, and he's quite good because, again, for killing your own team, you kind of maybe have him not open with his A3, right? So you go up against your own team, he might steal the turn meter and one-shot somebody, then he starts popping extra turns. He's not going to kill your whole team. If you have this A3 turned on, you might need to disable it entirely, and then he will kill your whole team for you, which is useful. Or you can leave the A3 on and he's going to do lots of damage to the boss, bring in the turn meter, helps kill your team a little bit. So yeah, he's a versatile champ for this. Actually quite good. Quite good.
Mr. Jintoro. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. He was actually gonna be my Genzin before Genzin came about. And then I was like, the mask isn't good enough.
No, yeah, I do think Genzin looks. Yeah, they came out at the same time, right? Yeah. I remember thinking, man, Genzin looks cooler.
Yeah, Genzin's my boy. You better say that.
It's true. It's true.
All right, who we got next?
Lady Kimmy is actually up next. So,
the Shadowkin are making it into the scene here.
They are. Turn meter control, basically. I think she's got a really good speed aura as well, which is very helpful for Doom Tower, best one. So that's great. She's got a bit of turn meter pushback and decreased speed. Her A1 has turn meter pushback. She gives you increased speed and turn meter, and the increased accuracy can be kind of nifty as well. So she brings a lot. She brings a lot just to make your team stronger. Very similar to Lysandra in a lot of ways.
Yeah, the increased accuracy is huge as well because I can't recall it off the top of my head, but I'll leave it in the description, guys. But it's very high accuracy in order to take down the Dark Fae, right? So being able to have an increased accuracy buff is going to be beneficial so you don't get resisted. So Lady Kimmy with that aura as well, I can't get over it. Like, every time I'm pulling shards, I'm actually going to pull 1 sacred towards the end, guys, just for nubs. We're going to hopefully get Lady Kimmy. Yeah, with a double legendary. Let's see.
I believe.
All right, so next one. Do you know what? You can have back-to-back ones because I know you wanted to put this on the list.
I did.
So
Digimon.
Yes. I was calling him Digimon.
Yeah, he's like one of the most disappointing void legendaries I ever pulled because he was so good like 2 or 3 years ago. This guy was insane, and now he's not that useful. He actually is good for this boss, though. So Hegemon comes in with his passive. He always goes first. So that's really nice. He just cuts in. He will go first, lock out your team, and you could have him just nuke your team down with his A2, which is nice. Can also lock him out a bit, which is useful. And then A1 can put decreased speed. So yeah, I mean, simple, straightforward. You know, you want to kill your own team, this guy can do it very, very easily. Plus bring decreased speed. So yeah, simple enough. Does the job. Nice little
setup champion. And if he dies after that, then you can just get rid. Pretty much. All right, so next up, actually, this is going to be like a combination thing, guys. All right, so this is going to be more like roles and stuff like that that you can bring in. So we got like freeze champions to pair with Dark Elhain. Now, Dark Elhain is free to attain, and there is some quirky ways to abuse the passive where freezing Dark Elhain will enable the passive. She comes through and kabooms, right? Is this a strategy that you've tried before?
I have not tried it, but I've heard people say it works really well for them, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of some cool champions that I've seen it done with. There's some uncommons out there.
Yeah. I can't remember. There's an uncommon or a rare that has like a single target 100% freeze or something like that people use, and they target Dark Elhain. I can't remember what it is though.
Yeah, but basically how it goes into with the Lethal Winter, fills this champion's turn meter by 25% and instantly activates the Death's Majesty, which is a money scaling ability, whenever this champion or an ally receives a freeze debuff. So bringing in like the fastest champion being a freeze with a 100% chance, hypothetically, she's going to instantly come through, increase her turn meter, she's going to nuke all of your mirror copies, and then she's going to allow you to just get back into the fight. So, and she also brings the decreased speed, so she's not useless in terms of debuffs. So if you're struggling with that mirror copy phase, there's a free to attain champion out there with that strategy, which I'll link in the description as well of somebody's videos. So yeah, a great choice out there. Do you want to lead into the second one here? We've kind of discussed it with champions, but I feel like it's quite important, just in general.
Next one on the list is increased speed in general.
Yep. So increased speed obviously is vital, right? Like trying to get to those specific speed thresholds. If you don't have turn meter increase as well, you're gonna find like you're gonna want it. But just remember, for the amount of magic champions you have, there's gonna be that chance for the boss to steal that and outspeed you. So that's something you have to bear in mind unless you've got like full turn meter control, right? And the last one that you actually added was ally attack, which is pretty interesting. So we'll put an example on the screen while you break it down for us.
Yeah. So Longbeard's a great example. But basically with ally attack, just in terms of killing the boss quickly, and especially when you've got those A1s that can deplete turn meter, it can be really effective as well for locking out the boss. So yeah, I've seen definitely some ally attack teams really shining in terms of speed farming. Certainly the lower stages of Dark Fae, I think it can be viable even for the higher stages too. There's Lanicus who gives turn meter, though she doesn't bring everyone in for the ally attack. Longbeard brings everyone in, which is pretty great. So yeah, they're a good way to kill the boss quickly because boss is actually very squishy.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you got good A1s, works pretty well.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just going to put a run in so you guys can actually see a run in action before we sign off. Where's my team? I've actually changed it. There we go. So I'm using kind of like a dirty team nowadays. Nothing budget today, guys. This is like my normal farm team that I like to use. So we use like the double turn meter or control with the allures. We've got 2 max HP champions and Alessandra. But like I said, guys, loads of comps will be in the description. I'm going to search through Nub's channel. Going to find every single one. And I'll try find all of the ones that I've done as well. And hopefully one of them out there can help you out. We've got teams about allures or whatever it may be. We'll find them. I promise.
Yeah. One tip as well I'll throw in for people, because we haven't mentioned it, but be very careful of accessories for this fight, even gear sets a bit. But I've had teams really struggle with consistency because I was like, oh my god, I built this champion with a reaction accessory. So you can't crit them and you can't kill them on turn 1. That actually happened to me this Doom Tower rotation.
I didn't even think about that, you know?
Yeah, because I re-geared. I was using Ninja. Actually, we did mention just good boss damage. But I was using Ninja, and I had re-geared him for farming Sand Devil since the last time Dark Fae was around, and I'd actually put a reaction accessory on him, so he was getting not crits, and he would survive and completely throw off the tune for this boss and make it fail. So that's same thing with the revenge accessories, where they can counterattack. Like if you don't one-shot your own champion and they start counterattacking you and stealing your turn meter or debuffing you or whatever, that can also wipe you pretty quick as well. So accessories dangerous, very dangerous for fighting your own team.
Do you know what else is dangerous? Having 2 coroners in a tanky team. Boss, Raid, what are you doing? The boss is hard enough and you're going to put 2 coroners in here. Oh my god.
You know what would be nice right there? A nice Herndig to rip through a boy. That's like, what you want.
Usually it's like, I always just go for like my 100% team, but I think if I just put 1 max HP in my presets, the thing is I don't like to set up my full presets until stage 120 when it's like fully optimized.
Yeah.
But look at this, guys. You see what we've got here? Everybody's dead, turn meter control, and the boss is literally the boss is going to have 0 turns on the turn count because of the way that we set up there. But like I said, if you bring in like a Vizix and a Nuka, you don't need 2 allures. You don't even need any allures as long as you bring in the right buffs and debuffs and stuff. But yeah, Nubs, while this is going on, is anything else going on in your channel? I know you always like to say no, but you got anything planned?
Man, I'm only getting back into videos this week, but so I don't know. But hard mode dungeons, I guess there's probably gonna be lots of stuff for that. So stay tuned.
Oh well, yeah, we've managed to get something out of him, guys.
There you go. Yeah.
Which team do you use on the Dark Fae at the moment? What's your current comp?
Let me double check. Because I don't remember.
Just trying to keep the conversation flowing whilst this battle's going on.
hang on. Bear with me. I'm loading it. Here it comes. I use Lysandra. I use the almost exact team as you. Lysandra, Allure, Royal Guard, Herndик, and Ninja. So
Ooh,
similar.
you got the ninjas. I get scared to
Got
use a
the
ninja
ninja.
nowadays because the comment section are brutal, man. Like, use a ninja, you gotta start hiding behind your setup. You gotta be under the tables.
It's true, yeah. You can't do video guides with Ninja.
Every single time I'm gonna use a ninja video, I'm like, oh, I can't do this. But there we go, guys. 2 minutes 58. That is for me. I'm happy with that. But of course, if I wanted to, I can go a lot faster. Just wanted to use for my second allure. And as promised, guys, one sacred and a dream. Nubs,
I believe.
Are we gonna get something here? Like a Lady Kimmy, a Nekmofar, please?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's basically 100% chance. 2 Lady Kimmies.
Come on, Raid, please.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ah, for God's sake. Oh, wait.
Oh,
wait, no, wait.
Trembor.
No, he's new for me. I wanted this dude. Ally Protector. Nice. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. There you go.
Look, not lying, guys. He was new for me. Wait, where is he? He's an orc, right? There he is. Look, new for me. Let's go.
Of course, it's appropriate to end being hyped up for an orc pull, right? At the end of the video.
I just got to prepare for the next faction games. But yeah, guys, that is going to be all for today's video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Head over to Nubraid's channel for part 2 for the Bommal, talking about very similar things like we did with this one. And also let us know if you found it useful and what kind of teams you like to use against Astranix The Dark Fae. We'll catch you guys in the video soon, and peace.